Hello, I'm Willhouse Darkrock, and this is Let's Play Total Annihilation. Last we left off, we had just established a beachhead on Thalassian. So let's go ahead and load up our last save.
Using the advantage of surprise, the armed commander set back the core line on Thalassian and established a beachhead at Larab Harbor. Meanwhile, however, core forces on the rest of the planet had had a chance to regroup. They were certain to attack.
It's a very odd narration. You notice he says, meanwhile, however. That seems kind of stilted language. That's alright, though. Anyway, the wind speed's very high, and I could actually build plenty of windmills, but I don't care to. I'm actually going to use tidal generators as most of my energy source. There's a lot to talk about in this mission. I'm going to go and talk about them real quick. This is the first time you can use metal makers, so we're going to try to get a lot of energy. And just like the last mission, we're going to build tidal generators. And from there, we're going to use a metal maker. Metal makers consume a lot of energy, and they produce only +1 metal per second. You will be pounded by units very early on and throughout this mission. This is a very difficult mission. Because of that, by the way, they're going to be at the bottom of the map, all the naval units. And just like all the other missions, they will be scripted by time, and once a certain time has passed, they were advanced towards your position. And so it's very important that you actually do everything extremely quick. You're going to have to use lots of defenses, like rocket towers, because there will be multiple air attacks and multiple bombing runs. And after that, you will have to use repair K-bots to repair the Moho mine. Moho is refers to the Moho discontinuity, but for all our purposes, it is a metal extractor that produces lots of metal. You could use Guardians, which is the naval bombardment defenses we used in the last mission, but they are kind of easily destroyed because once the enemy has line of sight, if even one unit has line of sight, all the other units kind of know it's there, and they can actually pound it from a good distance. So they're going to be of limited use here. Other than that, twice you will be assaulted by amphibious tanks. No fun. Alright, so hopefully I didn't waste too much time talking about all that stuff. Alright, let's resume. Alright, let's go ahead and build this mine here, and then build, as usual, plenty of solar panels. This is a long-range missile vehicle, but it's going to get destroyed really quickly. See, they're already shooting at where it was. Your best bet is actually to let him go forward. Go forward, darn you. Okay, I'm going to have to use these guys. You need line of sight. Once you establish line of sight, these guys have plenty of firepower. So that's what you're going to have to use. You're going to want to go ahead and produce this person. Most of these guys are going to get destroyed pretty easily. You want to keep these metal guys in place. These metal reservoirs. It's hard to talk while being attacked. This is a live Let's Play. I'm not recording this after the fact like some people do. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the way that is. Okay. Whew. Once that happens, go ahead and build a K-bot lab. This is all Moho mine. Once again, if it's destroyed, the mission fails. Go ahead and establish... go ahead and get this guy to start harvesting all the metal he can. You will need 3 of these guys. Go ahead and tell your commander to assist in their construction. The first one we're going to just have guard the actual Moho mine. The second one is going to be conducting, is going to be building most of the defenses. So let me go ahead and select him. Oops, I don't want down there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and 2, 3, 4. After that, I'm going to have him go here and patrol here, here, and here. Okay, the last one, I'm going to set him over here, and I'm just going to have him do lots of build lots of metal makers. 8 should be enough. Okay, wow. This is one of those missions, like, it's just hard to talk while you're doing this because so many things going on at once. I know, you know, the way MPEG compression works is that when I start moving this around, actually want one more constructor unit. when I start moving the map around, everything gets kind of blurry, and I apologize for that. You know, when I actually create these movie files, they actually look pretty well, but once you upload them to YouTube, they look good. I can use my adverbs and adjectives. They look good. It's just they don't perform well on YouTube because MPEG compression works by showing where an image is and what has changed one image from another. So when you have lots of things changing, like when I move up and down, you'll notice sometimes once I stop, it takes a while for the textures to load. Once again, everybody here has a very long range, so your main goal here is actually to establish line of sight, pull back, and let your long range units do most of the damage. Keep your units moving so that they have to guess where it is. They lose line of sight, but that's kind of the purpose. Okay. There it is. No, don't destroy my constructor K-bot. Okay. While all this is happening, once again I kind of want him to produce units over there. My commander needs to be... Shoot, he's already losing lots of energy because I didn't have him build in time. If you want to, you can go ahead and actually turn some of these off. Oops. That way you have plenty of energy to continue to build. You always want this constructor aiding in the construction. Sounds kind of silly. This constructor aiding in the construction. You always want to have one construction ship aiding in building your units. And like I said before, I'm just going to have my commander just build out the wazoo. Build tons and tons of tidal generators. Okay, let me wait till I'm getting the good... yeah, I can turn them on about now. On. Your construction K-bots will die multiple times in this mission. I kind of wish it wasn't the case, but it really is the case. But you need them to always maintain metal, and so to reclaim metal so that our metal status remains high. I have a slight stopped up nose, so I apologize if I just sound like a creep or something. I don't know, because I always kind of sound something like a creep. What? Nothing. Okay, anyway. Trying to do humor while playing a stressful game is no fun. Okay, so he's still building units. I want to have him, like I said, guarding everything. So I'm actually going to have him, well, I'll just leave him guarding this one Moho mine. That way he's focused. If anything, any damage happens to it, he'll be right there to repair it. Man, that poor constructor K-bot. Couldn't catch a break. These guys are called snakes. All of the submarines have torpedo launchers, and torpedo launchers are just stupidly powerful. If your unit gets caught underground, underwater, I mean they just get pounded into dirt. And so it's never a good idea to have any unit. Oops, I'm still getting pounded by one of these missile frigates. Who's pounding me? I mean, they just have such powerful range that once they get line of sight on you, it's no good. Alright, once again, close everything out, build one more construction K-bot, and go on from there. Alright, how are we doing on energy? Doing pretty good, but I could use another set of tidal generators. Once you have a fair amount, specifically, once you have enough to cover your 8, well, there's 4 times 4, so what's 4 times 4? 16. Then you do want to, in fact, have your commander start helping out with construction here. Alright, once again, I'm just going to have him gathering up metal. You think about that, how many times I played this. I played through this mission twice before I did this. It's just not a fun mission. You can build defense units like torpedo launchers. Unfortunately, they are actually somewhat ineffective for various reasons. I will, however, build sonar generator, and let's go ahead and build 2 right there. That'll be enough. They're not going to help with units because once, like I said before, once a long-range unit gets line of sight on it, then he can hit it from afar. So, you know, it's one of those... Shoot. Okay, so I said before that... Ooh, wow, that's a lot of assaults. Use metal again. Okay, I said before that we will be hit by lots of amphibious tanks, and here they are. Usually I have more units by this point, but I don't this time. So hopefully these guys will be enough to cover it. Now they're not going to be too much of an issue till they get on ground, and hopefully they won't get on ground too soon. These guys actually produce a lot of metal when they die, and they're not too difficult to kill. You just got to kill them while they're... some of them actually, one of them just got on land, and oh, come on. Oh, there's another one. Jeez. Oh. Okay, am I doing good? Okay, I'm doing pretty good. Okay. We got a little bit of time here. Once again, my constructor K-bot's dead. Oops. I wanted them to finish that one they were building, but that's alright. Later games, Supreme Commander, you can actually have infinite Q here, it just keeps on building, but not this particular game. Since I am using my commander unit, I am going to want to go ahead and start reclaiming metal. I am using more metal than I am bringing in. Luckily, that is buffered somewhat by our metal reserves. That way it isn't so chaotic. That way we can build up the metal. We can wait till we've used lots of metal and then build more, which is exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and build that. And I'm also going to build a sonar tower right down here. And that'll help me predict what's coming next. So usually about this time I do some sort of political rant, and this is no exception. I'm going to do a political rant. I'm also going to have this guy do some basic patrol. So here's my political rant. I think it's wrong to argue motivations when discussing policy decisions in governments and in jobs. And so what will happen is... you know, they don't want a certain policy decision, so they'll argue against the motivations for it. And it's kind of dumb because ultimately you end up making up your own motivations. So, there's an article I read recently called, you know, a lot of people don't like the modern American penal system, that is our prisons, because they jail lots of people. And we can talk a lot about drug laws. But the article, the title was, well, basically something to the effect of, that the penal system is based off bad theology. And it's like, who? No one person made the penal system. It's a result of history and actions and get tough on crime laws and all stuff. And even if it was made by one person, I doubt that one person used theology to do it. You can't really argue about the motivations of other people because you don't know their motivations. And it's kind of funny to see people invent motivations on other people when it's like, well, you don't know why they think that. I've seen other people say that if you're against illegal immigration, you must be racist. Well, I mean, if it's illegal, it should be enforced. A lot of people are against illegal immigration because it's currently illegal. And they're arguing for reform, not necessarily to say it is good or isn't good. Okay, we're getting a lot of ships coming in. I'm going to have to send in one ship just to get line of sight. I'm going to send him kind of to the front. There. Okay, so hopefully this will be enough. Try to keep a lot of your units back. Just like a lot of the land units, it helps if you can send in a column. You can send in a lot of ships. Let me explain something real quick. The way this is organized is basically if you click on if you click on a point on the east side of the map, all units go to that exact vector. So right now they're they're up and down like this. So if they go to the right, they wouldn't all gather at once. They'd all go to the right. And so you can actually produce some pretty good formations like that. I know from experience that these are actually warlocks, which are extremely powerful units, and you want to hang back as long as you can for these units. So I'm going to keep on building my fleet. Where's my constructor K-Bot? Is he still... my constructor ship? He's still there. I'm going to go ahead and have him, once again, reclaim some of the metal. Anyway, back to motivations. It's easy to find that one fringe guy on one side of the spectrum. And it's easy to find that one racist who's against illegal immigration. He'll say, I'm against illegal immigration. Why? Because I hate this particular ethnicity. Whew, he's dead. You see what happened? An airplane flew overhead, got line of sight, and these guys that have extremely long range killed him. That's what's good about aircraft. Anyway, it's easy to find that one extremely racist guy who's against illegal immigration and say, you see, I told you. The people who are against illegal immigration are racist. And it's easy to find that the one guy that's a communist, once again, an amphibious tank got line of sight, and these units just eviscerated it. It's easy to find that one person who's communist and say, I am for nationalized health care because I'm a communist, and say, see, if you like national health care, you're communist. And the reason I oppose Obamacare is because I don't believe in communism. When in fact most people that are in favor of Obamacare aren't communist, and most people who oppose the current immigration system aren't doing it because they're racist. They're doing it because they want laws enforced. And it's just funny the links people will go to once again assign motivations on behalf of others. This is tricky. I need to keep all my units back because as soon as they get line of sight, these warlocks back here are just can find you and they can shoot at you, so it's best to always avoid line of sight. Okay, I actually have plenty of units. I think I should be able to take out most of them. Okay. Proper way to do this once again. Get all your units to the side. Oh, there they are. And do a strafing run. I was going to do a strafing run, but didn't work out so well. Keep some of your units back. Remember, all you need is line of sight, and the other units can attack from a long range. So it's kind of a line of sight game. Make sure all your units see them, and they only see some of your units. And that way you have a sort of line of sight gap. But once again, there's a couple of really powerful ones right here. Okay, how are we doing? We got a few. Okay. Once this guy's done, I'm going to construct another construction K-bot. Construction ship, I mean. Anyway, so, it's easy to say that everybody that wants increased enforcement along the border is racist, when that's probably not the case. It's easy to say that everybody that wants Obamacare is a communist or a socialist, when that's probably not the case. And the solution to that is just don't worry about motivations. Don't try to identify motivations. If you don't like a program, to say why you don't like it. Don't try to defame other people. Don't say, well, I want to change immigration law because I'm not a racist like other people, or I'm against Obamacare because I'm not a communist like other people. Well, don't even worry about motivations. Just say, I don't like it for this reason. Just argue results, principles, and methods. Don't worry about other stuff. You don't need to worry about the motivations of other people. And it's funny when something fails. I'll give you an example. The so-called war on poverty started by LBJ. It's been going on for 50 years, and it's like, well, it's failed. We spent trillions of dollars on it. And when you try to argue that, someone says, well, I'm just trying to help the poor. You're trying to do nothing. I'm just trying to do this. Well, don't worry about motivations. Don't really tell me what you're trying to do. Just look at the evidence and see what has happened. Okay, I think I have enough units to get rid of that last... Let me wait till this guy's built. And then I think we're having enough units to get rid of these guys right here. And there are still units on the bottom part of this atoll right here. If most of you guys know what that means. And atoll, A-T-O-L-L, is a little small island. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, they're still there. Okay, I think we have enough units. Once again, I just click on one of the Crusaders and press Control-Z. And I'm going to go ahead and try to sweep them as quick as possible. Once again. Oh, they already got some line of sight on me. Might have been a little bit premature to attack them, I don't know. They have those lasers on them, and it's really tricky. Okay, we're barely going to have enough to beat them. Oh, there's a third one. Go ahead and do focus fire. Concentrate on one unit. And, yeah, we're barely going to have enough to defeat this particular cohort. Oh, the timpani means we're done. Okay, we're done. Whew. Okay, you can look at this pre-rendered shot. If you look at those units in the water, those are Crusaders. Like I said before, they made most of these pre-rendered screens before they made most of the game, I suspect, because it shows your units, Crusaders, assaulting a base that has defenses that are core defenses on it. And that doesn't really make any sense. You never encounter any actual core defense structures in this game. If anything, that should be armed defense structures being assaulted by core units. But yeah, like I said, they made most of these pre-render games after, well, really before most of the game was completed. Okay, so that was that mission, which stupidly difficult, the defense of Larab Harbor. Once again, make sure you just have plenty of defense units, anti-air defense units. Make sure that Moho mine maintains constant repair. Make sure you have lots of metal makers. So keep those metal makers supplied with lots of energy. You can use windmills, but windmills are extremely fragile and they're not as efficient in my mind as tidal generators as far as space is concerned. And just keep on cranking out Crusaders, keep on cranking out units. Keep in mind line of sight issues. If a plane flies overhead and there's a long-range naval unit, they will see you and they will track you. And try to maintain a line of sight gap. Make sure that all of your units see one of their units, but they only see one of your units. So, there's a lot of strategery involved there. Anyway, okay. One more thing about motivations. Yeah, I've already talked about that. People always defend a bad policy by saying, oh, I was just trying to do X, Y, and Z. Well, okay, you're trying, but you're failing. You need to talk about that. Anyway, try to keep to evidence and principles and methods. Don't try to argue motivations with people. It's just kind of silly. So that has been this episode of Let's Play Total Annihilation. Join me next time. Have a nice night. Bye.